Hello and welcome to another HR from my shed. So today we're going to have a look at the interview process which followed on from recruitment that we did not so long back. So you've decided on your candidates fairly and now you're ready to interview. So you need to prepare for this interview and you need to decide who is interviewing, who's on your panel. I always say more than one person. We need to avoid discrimination, bias, whole world of things. It's always better to have more than one person's opinion. Sometimes 2 or 3 people on the panel, whatever your business needs. What is the interview going to look like? Is it going to be a question and answer session? Is there going to be a test? Is it an assessment centre type interview? Again, it comes down to what does your business need to find the right candidates for you. If you are doing a question and answer session, and most interviews would take that form in some shape or form, if you are doing that, I would always say use an interview document. Okay, so your interview document should consist of your questions based on the job, and a little few questions as well to maybe find out a little bit more about the person, because it's always important that when we find the right candidate, yes, they need to have the skill set. Yes, they need to have maybe the experience, the qualifications, but they also need to be the right fit. So you need to find your way of working that out. Obviously, if you have HR, the HR will do that for you. They'll do the questions for you. And also a few little observation notes in your document so that you can work out a bit more of the personality. Do they have good communication skills? Did they answer all the questions? Did they relate to everybody on the panel? Those type of things. The scorecard should be quite simple. It's not there to catch anybody out. It's just I normally do a 1 to 5, and then at the end of the interview the panel can then compare notes. It's very important to remember that the interview document becomes a formal document. So that means if a candidate asks to see the document, they're entitled to. So be careful of your doodling. We've all done it. Once you've decided what your interview is going to look like, make sure that you've got a quiet area to hold those interviews and that you're not going to get disturbed. Remember, the interview is a two-way process. It's not all about you liking the candidate. It's the first impressions the candidate might have of you as well. So it's a two-way process. Some key questions I always like to ask is, do they have any other commitments? So that's another job or voluntary work. So, because that could impact on the ability to do the job for you. Have they got any holidays booked? Okay, so if they tell you they have any holidays booked and you decide to offer the candidate the job, you then have to allow them to take those holidays. They don't have to be paid holidays, but it has to be allowed to take. If they don't tell you at interview they've got holidays booked, and then 2 months into the employment they say, hey, I got 2 weeks off in August, I've already booked my holiday. If you cannot support for a business reason, you're within your rights to refuse it. So the interview document is a really important document to go back to make sure that you've answered all the questions are right and that you can use it through the employment process as well. So that's how you go through the interview document and the process a little bit better maybe than doing it off the cuff like we have done before. That's all from HR from my shed. If there's a topic that you'd like me to discuss, give me a shout. Take care, everybody.